Emma had always dreamed of working in a big company. When she finally got the job, she was full of hope. She smiled every morning, wore her best clothes, and worked hard. She wanted to prove herself. On her first day, her manager, Mr. Carl, welcomed her with a big smile. He was in his mid-40s, confident, and always well-dressed. Everyone respected him. Emma felt lucky to work under such a successful man. At first, Mr. Carl was nice to Emma. He complimented her work and gave her small advice. But slowly, his behavior started to change. He would stand too close. He would call her sweetheart or dear during meetings. He once said, "You look too pretty to be working so hard." Emma laughed nervously, not sure what to say. She didn't want to create problems, so she stayed silent. Days passed, and his behavior became more strange. He once touched her shoulder while showing something on the computer. Another time, he stared at her too long when she bent down to pick up a file. Emma felt uncomfortable, but she didn't want to complain. She thought, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe this is normal, but it wasn't. One Friday evening, most people had already left the office. Emma stayed late to finish a project. Mr. Carl came to her desk and stood behind her. "You work too hard, Emma. You need someone to take care of you," he said with a smile that didn't feel right. Emma stood up quickly, her heart beating fast. "I'm almost done. I should go now," she replied. He laughed softly. "You're cute when you're nervous." Emma left the office shaking. She couldn't sleep that night. The next morning, she made a big decision. She walked into the HR office and asked to speak with someone. Her hands were cold, her voice was shaking, but she spoke the truth. She told them everything, how Mr. Carl talked to her, touched her, made her feel small and unsafe. The HR lady listened quietly, then asked a few questions. Emma answered them all. They said, "Thank you, Emma. We will look into this seriously." Emma left the room feeling scared but proud. She finally spoke up. The weekend passed slowly. Emma stayed at home, thinking about what would happen next. She kept checking her email, waiting for some update. On Monday morning, something felt strange. When Emma entered the office, people looked at her differently. Some smiled awkwardly. Others didn't look at her at all. Her close co-worker, Tasha, avoided eye contact. She sat at her desk, confused. Then she noticed something. Mr. Carl's office was empty. His nameplate was gone. His desk was clean. His laptop was missing. Emma's heart raced. She whispered to Tasha, "Where's Mr. Carl?" Tasha looked around, then leaned closer. "Didn't you hear? He's not coming back. HR let him go this morning. He's gone." Emma was shocked. Just like that? No warning? She thought maybe now things would get better. But she was wrong. That afternoon, HR called her in again. Emma thought they would thank her or explain what happened, but the tone was different this time. "Emma," the HR manager said, "we've had some complaints from your department. People are saying you caused a lot of trouble. We just want to understand your side again." Emma froze. "I told you everything already. I did nothing wrong." The manager gave a small smile. "We're just trying to keep the office peaceful." Emma nodded slowly and left the room. As she walked back to her desk, she felt the stares again. The silence was louder than before. She sat down and tried to focus. But her eyes fell on something strange. There was a note on her keyboard. No name. Just 5 words written in capital letters. "You made a big mistake." Emma looked around, her heart pounding. Who left it? Who knew? What was happening? She held the note in her hand and sat quietly. The office was busy around her, but Emma felt alone. Her body was there, but her mind was full of fear. This was just the beginning. The next few days at work felt like walking through a storm, but without any rain. Just silence. Cold, heavy silence. Emma entered the office like always. Same time, same floor, same desk. But everything around her had changed. Co-workers who once smiled now avoided her. People she had lunch with stopped inviting her. Even her team members no longer shared ideas or jokes. Emma tried to ignore it. She thought maybe it was just in her mind. But she knew something was wrong when she walked into the break room and everyone suddenly stopped talking. She stood there for a second, holding her cup of coffee, unsure what to do. Then she turned and walked out. At her desk, she found her chair pushed far back, like someone had been sitting there. Her drawer was open. Files were moved. She looked around, trying to find someone to ask, but no one looked at her. Her only real friend at work, Mia, sat at the far end of the room. Emma walked over and whispered, "Hey, do you know what's going on?" Mia looked uncomfortable. She hesitated. "Emma, people are upset. They think you got Mr. Carl fired." Emma felt a sharp pain in her chest. "But he did those things. I didn't lie. I just told the truth." "I know," Mia said softly. "But not everyone believes you. Some think you just wanted attention. Or a promotion." Emma stepped back. Her eyes were wide, confused. "That's not true. I didn't want anything." Mia nodded slowly. "I believe you, but I can't say anything. I need this job." Emma didn't say another word. She walked back to her desk and sat down quietly. The day dragged on. Emails came late. People didn't reply to her messages. During the team meeting, her ideas were ignored. Someone even laughed when she spoke. It was like she had become invisible, or worse, hated. That night, she stayed at her desk late, finishing reports that no one offered to help with. The office was almost empty. She packed her things and reached for her coat. That's when she saw another note. It was left on her desk. This one had no envelope, no name, just one sentence. "You ruined everything for us." Her hands trembled as she read it again. She looked around quickly, but the office was quiet. Only 1 or 2 lights were on in the far end. No one was near her desk. Emma felt fear crawling up her neck like cold fingers. The next day, her manager called her into a meeting room. "We've noticed a few issues with your recent work," he said in a flat voice. Emma blinked. "What kind of issues?" "There were mistakes in the last report," he replied, not making eye contact. "Also, we've heard you've been distracting your team." Emma felt her breath catch. "That's not true. I've been working hard." "I didn't distract anyone." The manager didn't argue. He just nodded slowly, like he didn't believe her. "We'll be monitoring your work more closely from now on," he said. "You can go." Emma walked out, her legs heavy. She wanted to scream, to cry, to leave, but she stayed. She sat at her desk and tried to focus, but nothing made sense anymore. That evening, she decided to go to HR again. She told them about the notes, the way her co-workers were treating her, the false accusations. The HR lady looked uncomfortable. "We can't control how your colleagues feel, Emma, but we'll keep an eye on the situation." That was it. No real help, no protection, no support. Emma walked out of the HR office holding her tears. She felt like she was being punished for telling the truth. That night at home, she sat on her bed staring at the ceiling. Her phone buzzed. It was an email from an unknown address. Subject: "Want the truth?" Message: "You're not crazy. You're not alone. But you are in danger. Meet me tomorrow after work. 8 p.m., old parking garage, level 2. Emma's heart pounded. Who was this? Was it a trap or someone trying to help? She stared at the screen, unsure what to do. But one thing was clear. Something bigger was going on and she had only seen the surface. Emma couldn't sleep that night. The message from the unknown email kept flashing in her mind. "You're not crazy. You're not alone. But you are in danger. Meet me tomorrow after work, 8 p.m., Old parking garage, level 2. She read it again and again, trying to decide if she should go. It could be a trap, but it also could be the only person trying to help her. By morning, Emma made her choice. She would go, but carefully. That day at work, things only got worse. When she logged into her office computer, her files were missing. Important documents she had been working on for weeks were gone. Her inbox was filled with warnings. Deadline missed. Where's the report? You didn't share your task updates. Emma was confused. She had sent those reports. She had completed her work. She asked IT for help. They said they didn't know what happened. One technician said, "Maybe you deleted them by mistake." Emma's face turned pale. "I didn't." He just shrugged and walked away. Later in the afternoon, her manager called her in again. "This is serious now," he said, not hiding his frustration. "3 reports are missing. One client called to complain." Emma tried to explain. "I did everything. I sent those files. Someone must have deleted them." He crossed his arms. "You're saying someone is trying to destroy your work? Why? Would anyone do that?" Emma swallowed hard. "I don't know, but someone is." He looked at her like she was lying. "We're placing you under performance review," he said coldly. "One more mistake, and we'll have to suspend you." Emma walked out of the room shocked. Her legs felt weak. Her vision blurred with tears, but she held them back. At her desk, she found a message stuck to her screen. "Stop before it gets worse." No name, just the same writing as before. Emma's hands were shaking. She looked around, but again, no one made eye contact. That evening, as the office emptied, Emma waited. She stayed in the break room until everyone was gone. Then she quietly walked to the parking garage, just like the message said. She went to level 2. It was dark and silent, except for the soft hum of lights above. For a moment, she thought no one would come. Then a voice behind her said, "Emma?" She turned fast. A man stood there, late 30s, in jeans and a hoodie. He looked nervous. "Who are you?" Emma asked. "My name's Leo," he said. "I used to work in your department." Emma frowned. "I've never seen you." "You wouldn't have," he said. "They erased my name like they're trying to do with you." Emma's eyes widened. You had the same experience?" Leo nodded. "I also reported Mr. Carl 2 years ago, but HR didn't believe me. They said I was trying to harm the company's image. They gave me a warning and then made up a story to fire me." Emma's heart sank. "So this has happened before?" "More than once," Leo said. "I know 2 others. One had to leave the city." He handed her a small USB drive. "What's this?" she asked. "Proof," he said. "Emails, voice recordings, screenshots. From me and the others. I saved everything before they deleted my access." Emma stared at the USB, her hands cold. "This can help you," Leo said. "But be careful. The people protecting Carl, they're still there. HR, some top managers. They knew what he was doing." Emma felt sick. "Why would they protect him?" "Because he had secrets," Leo said quietly. "Secrets about them." Suddenly, footsteps echoed nearby. Emma and Leo froze. They quickly moved behind a concrete pillar. A flashlight passed through the area. A security guard was walking nearby, checking the garage. Emma whispered, "Did he see us?" Leo shook his head. "Maybe not, but you need to go. And hide that drive. They'll come for it if they find out." Emma nodded, heart pounding. She slipped the USB into her pocket and turned to leave. Leo stopped her. "One more thing. Don't trust HR. Don't trust your manager. You're on your own now." Emma ran up the stairs, got in her car, and drove home in silence. That night, she sat on her bed with her laptop, holding the USB drive in her hand. She didn't open it yet. She was too scared. But she knew one thing for sure. She wasn't crazy. She wasn't alone. And now she had proof. But would anyone believe her? Would anyone care? Or would this be used against her too? She had no idea. But the setup had already begun. The next morning, Emma sat at her desk with the USB drive in her pocket. She didn't plug it in at work. She couldn't trust the company's computer. Cameras were everywhere. People were watching her. Even the silence felt heavy. Mia, her only friend, walked by but didn't stop to talk. She gave Emma a quick glance, then looked away. Emma felt more alone than ever. She decided to leave early. Her heart was racing. She wanted to know what was inside the USB. She needed answers. At home, she shut the curtains, locked the door, and turned off her phone. Then she connected the USB to her personal laptop. What she saw made her feel sick. There were folders named with dates, some going back more than 2 years. Inside were emails, screenshots, and voice recordings. She opened the first recording. A woman's voice spoke softly. "Mr. Carl asked me to stay late again. He said if I didn't, my promotion might disappear." Then came another. "HR told me to forget it. They said reporting him would hurt my future, so I stayed quiet." Emma's hands shook. Another folder had emails, one from Mr. Carl to a senior manager. "Emma's too emotional. Keep an eye on her. She's the type to make noise." Another email from HR. "If she pushes this, we'll have to find a way to remove her quietly." Emma leaned back in shock. They had planned everything. They weren't just ignoring her, they were setting her up. Tears rolled down her cheeks, not just from fear, but anger. How many people had they silenced? How many lives had they ruined? Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Mia. "Don't come to work tomorrow. They're planning something." Emma quickly replied, "What are they planning?" No response. Emma's hands tightened into fists. She knew she had to do something, but what? She couldn't go to HR. She couldn't trust her manager. And now even her job was in danger. She needed help. Real help. She remembered Leo's words. "You're on your own now." But was she? Later that evening, she sat quietly on her couch when a knock came at the door. She froze. Another knock, soft but steady. She walked slowly to the door and looked through the peephole. A man in a delivery uniform stood there, holding a brown envelope. "Delivery for Emma," he said. "I didn't order anything," she replied. "It's from someone named Leo," he said. Emma opened the door slightly. He handed her the envelope and left quickly. Inside was a note. "They're watching your apartment. Don't open the files again here. Tomorrow, go to the library. Use public Wi-Fi. There's more you need to see." Emma stared at the note. She quickly turned off her laptop and hid the USB inside a flower pot. That night, she barely slept. She kept waking up, hearing sounds, thinking someone was outside. In the morning, she left early and went straight to the public library, just like the note said. She sat in the back corner, plugged the USB into a public computer, and found a new folder Leo had added. It was named Video Evidence. She clicked the first file. The screen showed Mr. Carl in his office talking to someone. A woman. She looked nervous. The audio was low but clear. "Mr. Carl, you want the promotion? Then show me you deserve it." The woman. "Please, I just want to work hard, that's all." Mr. Carl. "Then prove your loyalty." Emma's hands clenched into fists. Another video showed HR talking to a male employee. HR rep. "You're lucky we're not reporting you. Just sign the letter. Say you made the mistake. We'll cover for Carl." Emma stared at the screen in horror. This was huge. Proof that HR protected Carl. Proof of threats. Proof of everything. Her mind was racing. Should she go to the police, a lawyer, the media? Before she could decide, the library lights flickered. Then her computer screen went black. She looked around. A man in a hoodie was standing by the printer, looking right at her. not blinking. Emma's stomach turned. She grabbed the USB, stuffed it in her bag, and left the library quickly. As she stepped outside, she felt someone following her. She turned around. No one. She started walking faster. A black car turned the corner and slowed down beside her. Emma's heart nearly stopped. The window rolled down slightly. A voice inside said, "You're getting too close. This is your last warning." The car sped off. Emma stood on the sidewalk, frozen in place. She now knew the truth. She had proof. But now, someone was watching her. Someone dangerous, and they weren't going to stop. Emma didn't sleep that night. She sat in the dark, the USB hidden in her pocket, her phone turned off, her laptop unplugged. Every sound outside made her heart jump. She kept remembering the car, the voice that warned her. "You're getting too close. This is your last warning." Who were they? How did they find her? Were they watching her right now? She pulled the curtains shut tighter and tried to breathe slowly. But no matter how much she tried, her hands kept shaking. The next morning, Emma decided not to go to the office. She turned her phone on for a few minutes to check messages. The screen exploded with notifications. Over 50 missed calls, emails from her manager, texts from HR, a message from her bank. Then she saw it, an email titled, "Urgent Suspension Notice." Her eyes widened. She opened the message. "Due to repeated performance issues and behavioral concerns, we are placing you under immediate suspension. You are not allowed to access company files, enter office property, or contact team members until further notice." Attached was a fake report saying she had failed several projects. The signatures were forged. Emma felt her chest tighten. They had done it. They had pushed her out. She stared at the screen, frozen. All she had done was tell the truth, and now she had lost everything. Just then, her doorbell rang. She didn't move. She held her breath. It rang again. A voice called out, "Emma, open the door, it's Mia." Emma rushed to the door and opened it. Mia looked out of breath, scared. "They're blaming you for everything," Mia whispered. "They told everyone you stole company data. They're saying you were planning to blackmail Mr. Carl." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "That's a lie." "I know," Mia said, "but they've made it official. They even told I to delete your account and block your ID badge." Emma's heart sank deeper. "They're destroying your name, Emma. They want to make sure no one ever listens to you." Mia sat on the couch and leaned in closer. "You need to leave the city for a few days. Just disappear. Let things calm down." "I can't," Emma whispered. "I have proof, real proof. If I run now, they win." Mia looked scared. "But what if they hurt you?" Emma looked away. "Then I'll take that risk." She pulled out the USB from her pocket and showed it to Mia. "This has everything. Emails, videos, recordings, all of it." Mia stared at it, shocked. "You got all that?" "Leo helped me," Emma said. "He used to work in our department. They erased him too." Mia was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "There's someone I know, a reporter. She's young but honest. She writes about workplace corruption." Emma's eyes lit up. "Do you trust her?" "I do," Mia said. "She once exposed a case just like yours. She's not afraid." Emma nodded. "Then let's meet her." But before they could decide where, Emma's phone buzzed again. It was an unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. A deep voice said, "We warned you, Emma. This is your final chance. Hand over the USB, or your family will pay." Emma froze. "How? Do you know my family?" she asked, her voice shaking. The voice laughed softly, then hung up. Emma dropped the phone. She turned to Mia, terrified. "They're going after my family." Mia stood up. "Emma, maybe this is bigger than we thought." Emma nodded. "Yes. This isn't just about Mr. Carl. It's about the people behind him, people with power." The trap was tightening. They had taken her job. They had ruined her name. Now they were threatening her family. But Emma wasn't ready to give up. She looked at Mia with fire in her eyes. "I'm going to that reporter, and I'm going to tell everything." Mia squeezed her hand. "Then I'm going with you." They packed the USB, copies of the evidence, and left the apartment together. As they drove away, a black car followed them for a few blocks, then turned the other way. But Emma knew. The real battle hadn't started yet. Emma sat in the back seat of Mia's car, holding the USB tightly in her hand like it was her last lifeline. The city lights passed by as they drove to the far side of town, where the reporter lived. They didn't speak much during the ride. The fear was heavy in the air. Mia finally broke the silence. "Are you sure about this?" Emma nodded slowly. "It's the only way. If I stay silent now, they'll do this to someone else, again and again." After nearly an hour, they arrived at a small apartment building. It didn't look like a place where news happened, no big signs or cameras. Just a quiet home. They rang the bell. A young woman in her late 20s opened the door. She wore glasses and a simple sweater. Her eyes were sharp, curious. "You must be Emma," she said softly. "Come in, I'm Tasha." They walked in and sat on an old couch. Emma clutched her bag. "I don't know where to begin," she said. Tasha gave a small smile. "Start from the beginning. I'm listening." For the next hour, Emma told everything. From the harassment, to HR's lies, to the threats, to the videos on the USB. Tasha listened without interrupting. She took notes, sometimes asking for dates or names. Then Emma handed over the USB. Tasha plugged it into her laptop. As the files opened, her eyes widened. "This is real," she whispered. "This is bigger than I thought." She clicked on the video of Mr. Carl, the one where he threatened the woman. Tasha's face grew serious. This alone could bring down the whole HR department, maybe even senior management. Mia looked at Emma. "You did it." But Emma didn't smile. "It's not over yet." Tasha nodded. "You're right. If we publish this, they'll fight back. They'll say it's fake. They'll attack you in the media." Emma looked up. "Let them. I'm not hiding anymore." Tasha stared at her for a long moment. Then she said, "Give me 48 hours. I'll verify the files, talk to legal, and prepare the article." "Will my name be public?" Emma asked quietly. "Not if you don't want it to be. But if you go public, others may come forward. People trust faces." Emma paused, then nodded. "Use my name. Use everything." Tasha smiled. "You're brave." As they were leaving, Tasha said, "One more thing. Be careful. If they threatened you once, they'll do it again. And worse." Emma and Mia left the apartment, their hearts racing. For the first time, Emma felt lighter, like she was finally doing something right. But peace didn't last long. That night, as Emma and Mia drove back to her place, a black SUV blocked their path at a red light. 3 men in suits stepped out and walked toward their car. "Drive!" Emma shouted. Mia turned the wheel fast and sped down a side street. The SUV chased them. Emma's heart pounded. "They're trying to take it back." They raced through the city streets until they reached a gas station with people around. The SUV didn't follow them in. The men stayed in the shadows, then drove away. Mia parked behind the station. "We can't go home," she said, breathing fast. Emma nodded. "We'll stay somewhere safe." They booked a small motel under a fake name, just for the night. Emma sat on the bed, heart still racing. She checked her phone. A message appeared from an unknown number. "This isn't over. You have no idea who you're fighting." Emma read it, then deleted it. She looked at Mia. "Let them come. I'm not afraid anymore." 2 days later, Emma woke up early. She felt different, nervous but strong. At 9 a.m., her phone buzzed. It was Tasha. Emma answered quickly. "It's up," Tasha said. "The story is live. It's everywhere. The evidence, the videos, your statement. It's all there." Emma's breath caught. "What's happening now?" "There's a storm," Tasha said. "The internet is exploding. People are sharing the story. Former employees are coming forward. Even someone from HR just contacted me. They want to talk." Emma's hands trembled. Not from fear this time, but from hope. She turned to Mia and said with a smile, "The truth is rising." The news spread like fire. By morning, Emma's name was trending across social media. Whistleblower exposes workplace abuse. HR protected a predator for years. Company faces legal firestorm. Every TV channel, every blog, every radio station. They were all talking about Emma. Some people called her brave. Others called her a liar, but no one was silent. Mia held Emma's phone, scrolling through the articles. "Look," she said, showing her the screen. 3 more former employees just came forward. One said she was fired after reporting Carl 5 years ago. Emma nodded slowly. They weren't lying. I wasn't alone. Suddenly, her phone rang. It was an unknown number again. Emma paused. Mia grabbed it. "Don't answer," but Emma said, "I need to know who's scared now." She answered. The voice was different this time, softer, nervous. "Emma, it's Leo." Emma sat up straight. "Leo, you're alive?" "I've been hiding," he whispered. "But after the article, I knew I had to call." "Why now?" she asked. "Because the company's cracking. People inside are scared. Documents are being deleted. Calls are being made. They're covering their tracks." Emma's eyes narrowed. "How do you know?" "I still have access," Leo said. "They forgot to remove one of my old accounts." Emma leaned forward. "What are they hiding?" Leo replied, "There's one more file, one they never thought anyone would see. It's not just Carl. He was just a puppet." Emma's heart raced. "Who's behind him?" "An executive, a board member, someone powerful. His name is—" The call cut off. Emma stared at the phone. "Leo?" No signal. Mia looked worried. "They cut him off, or worse." Emma stood up. "Then we need to finish what we started. We can't stop now." Back at the company headquarters, chaos had begun. Employees whispered in hallways. The HR director had resigned. Mr. Carl's office was sealed. The CEO held emergency meetings. News vans stood outside the building. Reporters waited, cameras ready. An emergency statement was released. "We are deeply disturbed by these allegations. We are investigating. The individuals involved have been suspended." But Emma knew the truth. They weren't sorry. They were scared. Later, that evening, Tasha, the reporter, called Emma again. "There's something new," she said. "I got an anonymous email, internal documents, financial records, secret settlements." "Settlements?" Emma asked. "Yes. Your company paid money to silence victims. Dozens of cases, signed by a senior executive, a man named Victor Hale." Emma had never heard that name before. "He's on the board," Tasha continued. "He used Carl to do his dirty work. When someone complained, he had HR cover it up, and when things got dangerous, he made people disappear." Emma's voice was cold. "He tried to make me disappear too," Tasha said. "We need to go public. With his name." "Do it," Emma said. "Let the world see him." The next morning, a new headline appeared. "Top executive linked to harassment cover-up." Victor Hale's name exploded across the internet. Journalists demanded answers. Activists called for arrests. Stocks dropped. Investors pulled out. Emma's old company was falling apart. And Emma? She wasn't hiding anymore. She agreed to a live interview. Cameras rolled as she sat down, eyes calm, voice steady. "Why did you come forward?" the reporter asked. Emma looked straight into the camera. "Because silence helps the abusers." and I was tired of being silent. The audience watched in silence. Many cried, some stood and clapped, but the collapse had consequences. That night, Mia received a message from an unknown account. "You were warned. Now you'll pay." Later, Mia's car was found with slashed tires. Her apartment was broken into, nothing stolen, just destroyed. Emma cried when she saw the damage. "This is my fault." "No," Mia said. "This is their fault, and I'm still with you." Emma hugged her tightly. "We won't stop. Even if they break everything, they won't break us." Meanwhile, Victor Hale was missing. His office was empty, his phone disconnected. The media searched for him, but he had vanished. Emma knew he was out there, hiding, maybe planning revenge. But for now, the walls around him were crumbling, and for the first time in years, the truth was louder than fear. Emma stood by the window of her new apartment, watching the city lights blink in the distance. It had been 2 weeks since the collapse began. 2 weeks of interviews, police visits, emails, fear, and strength. Her name was everywhere now. Some people called her a hero, others a troublemaker. But one thing was clear. She had started something no one could stop. The company's CEO had resigned. Multiple managers were being investigated. Lawsuits had been filed. Employees who were once silent were now speaking up, but one man, Victor Hale, was still missing. Every night Emma wondered where he was. Every shadow outside her window made her pause, but she never let fear win. One morning, a surprise came. Mia knocked on the door, holding a newspaper in her hand. "Emma, look," she said. Her voice shaking, Emma read the headline, "Victor Hale caught at private airport, arrested for conspiracy and threats." Her eyes widened. The man behind it all was finally caught. According to the article, Victor had been planning to escape the country. But thanks to Leo, who secretly passed location data to Tasha, the police found him just in time. Emma sat down, the weight of everything hitting her at once. Mia sat beside her. "It's over, Emma. You did it." But Emma shook her head slowly. "No, it's not over." Mia looked confused. "What do you mean?" "There are still others out there, other companies, other victims. Some may never speak up. Some are still afraid." Mia held her hand. "But you gave them hope. You showed them they're not alone." That afternoon, Emma received a letter in the mail. It was from the board of the company, the same people who once ignored her. It read, "We deeply regret the pain you suffered. We failed you and we failed many others. We would like to invite you to help lead a new workplace justice committee. Your voice matters." Emma read it again. Her heart felt heavy. After everything, the fear, the pain, the threats, now they wanted her to help fix it. She didn't answer the letter right away. Days passed. Emma walked in the park alone one evening. She saw a young woman sitting on a bench crying. She reminded Emma of herself months ago, quiet, scared, broken. Emma sat beside her. "Are you okay?" she asked gently. The woman shook her head. "My boss touched me. I told HR. They said I was confused." Emma took a deep breath. "You're not confused, and you're not alone." The woman looked at her, eyes wide. "Wait, are you that girl from the news?" Emma smiled softly. "Yes, and I believe you." That night, Emma made her decision. She emailed the board. "I will not work to fix what you broke, but I will speak, I will fight, and I will stand with every woman, every man, who ever felt powerless, until none of them are ever silenced again." She clicked send and felt peace, not because she had won, but because she had finally found her voice. 6 months later, Emma stood on a stage. A large crowd sat before her. Workers, lawyers, students, parents, survivors. She wore a simple black suit, holding no paper, no notes. She looked around and said, I lost my job. I lost my peace. I almost lost my life. But I found something stronger than fear, truth. The crowd listened, silent and moved. She continued. Some people still ask me, was it worth it? I tell them the truth has a price, but silence costs more. The audience stood and clapped, a standing ovation. Emma smiled through tears. This wasn't just her story anymore. It belonged to everyone who ever felt small, and finally stood tall. Final lines. As the lights dimmed and Emma walked off the stage, Mia met her with a hug. You were meant for this, Mia said. Emma smiled. No, I was broken. But I built myself again, with truth, courage, and the people who never left me. And she walked forward, not as a victim, not even just a survivor, but as a voice the world could no longer ignore.